Morning everyone, welcome back, hope you had a nice night. I've got a story for you. First I'll tell you something that this story involves, and I wonder if you can get ahead of me and see what's going to happen, because it might be possible to figure out the ending here. There is a sport called squash. I don't know if you know what it's like. It's a little bit like tennis indoors with no net. So what it is, it's a big back wall like this, made of concrete, and then it's like you're playing in a box. So the walls come down and they slope, and there's a little wall at the back. So it looks like this box. So these are the side walls, and then this whole front wall is glass so that the people can see, because it's transparent. Science. So then you can see all of these walls and see the whole game through the glass. And that means they have a big glass door in this wall here for you to get in and out of this squash court. So basically one player, they will hit the ball. Looks like they're holding another person. They'll hit the ball onto the wall and it will bounce down towards the other player. The other player has to hit it back. So you're running around on the same court, hitting it off the wall. It's a fun game. It's actually the country with the most world champions, and like in the top 10 world rankings, the country with the most people in that top 10 is Egypt. And I reckon it's because you play this inside, and because it's so hot in Egypt, they probably want to play something indoors where it's cool and there's aircon. So yeah, that's how you play squash. So here are the ingredients for the story that I'm about to tell you. My mum is playing a friend. Me and my siblings and I are small kids. I was about 10, and that means my youngest brother was 4, Jack. He's 6 years younger than me. So we have squash, we have the door, we have my mum playing, and we have small kids. What do you think could happen? Those are the ingredients. Let me tell you what happened. We kept opening the door between the points to ask who was winning, because we didn't really know. We just wanted my mum to beat her friend. So we kept opening the door to ask the points, and my mum and her friend would keep telling us, but then eventually it got a bit annoying, of course. So mum said, don't open the door anymore. We'll tell you the score at the end of the game, so you can just watch. I don't know where my dad was. He was like there somewhere. So anyway, my little brother Jack opened the door to ask what the score was. Or maybe it was my sister actually. She opened the door, and Jack was standing. So say she opened the door here. This is my sister opening the door. She would have been maybe, I think she's a couple years older. She would have been 6, not 64. And my little brother, oh so cute, little brother Jack, he was standing on the other side of the door there, where the hinge was. Another ingredient in our story. So my sister opened the door, the glass door. Jack was standing there at the hinge side. My sister opened the door to ask the score. I said, no, you're not meant to open the door. So I pushed the door shut. But in the middle, between those two things happening, Jack had put his finger in the gap between the door and the glass wall. So his finger's now in there. And I shut the door on his finger. And he screams and loses it. And I'm like, what is happening? And this top part of his little finger was on the other side of the door. And so the top knuckle there came off completely. So everyone's screaming, everyone's running with towels, and I'm like, oh no, what have I done? Trying to back away slowly. And they had these white towels, and the white towels were all going red because of all the blood. And then we quickly raced to emergency, and the doctor sewed that bit of his finger back on. And so he actually still has that finger. There's a little bit of a scar there, but magically they reattached it. I think he still has feeling in there. And so actually, because my dad's a doctor and my mum's a nurse, when they got home, they thought that the emergency doctor had stitched the bit on too tight. So they actually undid the stitches and then stitched it again themselves. Hardcore, man. So, what we are doing today is trying to predict something that could happen in a story from the ingredients. Let me give you another example. You'll probably see where these are going a bit more obviously. A kid, a living room, and a can of paint. One of my teachers used to say in school, even blind Freddy can see where that's going. That actually happened to a friend of ours. I couldn't find the photo on Facebook, but she took a photo of her kids walking in. She was walking in and her kids were there and they had this green paint and they were just smushing it around the carpet like this. What about this one? A tired parent. You might have one of them right now. Vegemite and Nutella as they're making breakfast. One more. In a bank, and there's money on the counter. And basically the strategy for this year fives is, you might have heard your parents saying this or some adult, a disaster waiting to happen. So you can write that down, year five, that is your strategy. A disaster waiting to happen. Use the ingredients. To predict what might happen. So get that down in your books, year fives. Either literacy or writing is fine. So what are the ingredients? Use them to predict. And the rest of your activity is on school books there, year fives. You can predict what could happen in some of those scenarios that we've put up there. If you want to, you can also predict what's going to happen up here with some of these scenarios, although they're a little bit more obvious. And then you also get to create your own scenario for other people to predict. So you could post that in the forum, I hope, which would be fun. Okay, thanks you. Thanks Comprehension Detectives. I will see you later. Have a good day. Bye.